What's up, Rockstars? Welcome back to some more Jurassic Craft. Alright, today's gonna be a super exciting day because we should be getting on vetted for Dino. So we should have every single machine we need except for one more that we need to craft to finish up because we already have our Parasaur egg that we got last time. So we need to craft the incubator. It should be the only thing we need to incubate the egg that we have. So we need 3 iron, a keyboard, redstone comparators, and glass. Alright, let's start with redstone comparators because I just need to put these in the EMC table anyway. Stone, redstone, torches, and nether quartz. So there we go, let's make the redstone comparator. Perfect. So now that we have this, we can actually EMC it so we don't have to worry about making it again. We can grab our keyboard that we've already made. Luckily, a lot of these modded items that you build are actually EMCable, which is really nice and provides us just a whole lot easier of a time to storing them in the EMC. Alright, so the last thing we need is just 2 pieces of glass, which should be no big deal at all. There we go. And the incubator, that should be absolutely everything we need. I guess we can just put this here for now. Okay, so we should put this in here. Now, I do know that the red and yellow means whether it's male or female. If we just leave everything on yellow, everything will be the same gender and I shouldn't have any breeding issues. Alright, so we might have the incubator, but we're still not done yet. So for the incubator to properly work, we do need to get ourselves peat moss, which can be found in biomes like the jungle or savannah, not savannah, the swamp biome, and basically grassy type lands or the forest. Now we do know there's a swamp over here in this direction. I think we're gonna head this direction and hope that we can find some peat moss, because every single time we incubate an egg, we have to have peat moss, at least one, for it to actually incubate. Plus we need to get more than one so we can start a peat moss farm like we do with wheat. Otherwise we're gonna eventually run out, unless it has an EMC value, which it might, but I doubt it. Alright, so there we go. We found our very first piece of peat, which is a part of peat or peat moss that we need. So there we go. We can grab that. Oop, there's another one right here as well. Perfect. Alright, so this peat is what we need, sort of. So peat can grow the peat moss that we need. It grows it on grassy blocks, but the peat is what we need to grow the moss itself, while the moss is what we actually need to use for the incubator. So this is just a step in the right direction. You place it down next to water just like you would with any farmland, and it should grow on regular grass blocks and give you moss on top of those grass blocks. Alright, 12 pieces of peat, that should be fine for now. Let's head on home and let's see if we can get this farm for it set up so we can start growing moss, and especially because if we could bone meal this, that would be exponentially faster and super helpful. Alright, so there we go. So we have all the peat set up, and I'm pretty sure this just should be all we need in general for moss to start growing on the grass to get peat moss for the egg incubator. Until then though, I think the only thing we can do is hopefully we find some in the wild, but that's a bit of an RNG game and I don't really think that's worth it. So I think the next best thing is we can do is really just start trying to set up the actual location for this first dino pen. Otherwise we're not going to really have a good baseline for how we want to set up the actual area itself. So obviously this is going to be out of park range. I guess we could just start right about here. This would work out. It's just out of the way of everything. Now I do remember that dinos in this mod can break blocks, so it's going to be extremely difficult. But if I remember correctly, yes, there's reinforced glass from industrial craft. Is that the right one? I know that shouldn't break. I'm curious though, I don't remember using reinforced stone or bricks though. Those might not break either, so we probably want to test reinforced stone. So that's iron or stone. So I don't know, it's iron in the middle of stone or diorite or andesite or even granite apparently. So back to digging in the ground, because sadly we have to use those reinforced blocks to keep dinos in, and that also means that electric fences aren't enough to keep anything in since these dinos can break blocks quite easily. Alright, so that's a pretty good size square to start off with, or more of a rectangle. The question, I almost don't want to go with a rectangle or square though, because you know it seems boring and unnatural for an environment for a cage. But I guess there's nothing natural about the environment that I'm putting the dinos in anyways. Yeah, you know, I'm going to try to focus on making all these cages unique shapes and something, you know what, so it's not as boring, and I think it's going to be a better design overall and just a better look for the actual park itself. Alright, so I think that's a much better shape overall. We're going to widen this end a little bit. That's the problem with not doing the direct square, is that we can't have the blocks too close together in the corners, otherwise they could glitch out the dino. Perfect, so now all we gotta do is dig down. I'm liking the shape overall. Looks a lot more natural. And this is just a Parasaur pin, so we shouldn't have to go super far deep either. Alright, so we've got a pretty good looking pit for our first enclosure here. It looks great. It's deep enough. It looks like a good shape and everything. We just don't have the peat moss to incubate the egg. So I'm gonna travel to a forest. We've got the peat, but we need the moss. So the moss we should be able to find separately from the peat in a forest or a jungle type biome. And we should just be able to mine it up anything with any tool, and it should just be on some grass blocks. So I want to travel a little bit, see if we can find a forest. If a jungle would be up here, that would be much better. A darker forest. Actually, this might be perfect for us. Okay, so we just have to find this moss block or some moss. We need to be be able to begin the farm, or at least be able to begin to incubate our egg. Hey, there we go. Our first piece of moss. Grab that bad boy up. Yes. Okay, so technically 8 more of these and we can make peat moss, which I think is exactly what we need, not moss for the actual incubator itself. So it's not gonna be easy, but hey, now we're at least on track to finding some. Plus, if we get more, we can place it down by our peat and it should grow and actually get us more moss. All right, let's place our last piece of moss there. Boom. And so all of this should start growing onto these peat blocks. I need to get more so they can directly grow next to each other, because they won't grow on grass, I believe. If I remember, I read that article correctly. Doesn't matter if it's right or not, it's gonna grow. But we have our 9 moss, so we can now make our peat moss and throw this bad boy into the incubator. Okay, so now this will finally start to incubate. Now, it does take some time, but we still have a lot of work to do on the enclosure. So the next up, what we want to do is straight up, we just need to make that reinforced stone. So it's stone surrounded by iron. Luckily, this seems to have an EMC value as well, so that's gonna be super, super nice, so that we don't actually have to keep making this. So boom, there we go. And let's throw that in there. So now we have an EMC value of reinforced stone. So we also need to go ahead and, do we want to make reinforced glass? It's not EMCable, right? This version of it. So I'm not going to worry about it for now. Right now, we're just going to worry about the reinforced stone, because that does have EMC. And if this does still break, we'll have to make the reinforced glass. All right, so we need to replace the rest of this floor with dirt so this grass can go on it. And it actually looks like a nice enclosure down here, you know, so that I don't want them standing on stone, the dinos. And then we got to replace all the dirt walls with the reinforced stone. At that point, we should be good to go ahead and put the egg in here if it's done incubating. Now, usually I do put fences up on the top and around it. Now, I might still do that, but I don't exactly know if we're going to need to do that, or if it's just a bunch of waste of extra resources. But it might be best for us just to straight up put a glass roof over it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Should I use a glass roof, or should I use the actual electric fences like I've used in past series? And if you guys don't know what I mean, I highly recommend the old Jurassic Craft series. By the way, if you guys are enjoying, make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe down below. Lets me know you guys are enjoying the content we are making, and you know, it tells YouTube the exact same thing, which is, you know, extremely helpful. I'm also doing something different. Usually I like reinforce the layers of these walls with, like, oh, if I'm gonna put reinforced stone, we're gonna put 3 layers of reinforced stone to make sure that nothing can break. Well, I'm not spending all the extra time doing it. Either it breaks or it doesn't break, and we're just gonna go with it. There we go. We have a hatched parasaur philophysis. We have a parasaur egg. That's what we have. We have a hatched parasaur egg, and the cage, you know, is technically finished for the most part. Let's go ahead and place the bad boy down. You have a 10th Parasaurus. Look at him. That's so little. He's so small, and it's so adorable. Okay, so that is fantastic. So we have our very first dino, and you shouldn't be able to get out of the enclosure even with my staircase. I need to make an actual way in and out. But guys, I think getting our first dino is a great place to end off today's episode. So make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below if you guys did enjoy it. And next time, hopefully we'll get another brand new dino. Peace, peace, Rockstars.